Work ethic plays a big part in whether or not you will or will not be successful in trucking. But your driver leader can play a bigger role. Ubiest of the tubiest, the best YouTube subscribers on the planet. That's you, and I'm 50 plus. Got a good question today. Question comes from Deborah. She says, hello, I'm a new supporter, and I will be driving reefer for Swift in January. I want to know how to know when you have a good driver leader, and can you make a video about this? How to build a relationship with them and how they affect you driving. Thanks for everything you do. Let me tell you something. You are on to something there, Deborah, because having a good driver leader can make you or break you out there. You have to have a very good connection with your driver leader. And, you may want to get home. You may want to go to a certain part of the country. You may have a problem with your load. There's so many things that can go wrong or that you may need help with while you're out there. And it is the driver leader that you have that relationship with, get those things taken care of. So you can imagine if you have a piss poor relationship with that person. I mean, it can be disastrous. I mean, they see your number come up and just don't answer it. They'll answer it and then put you on infinity hold. I mean, they can just teach you any kind of way because they're on the phone, And a lot of complaints that come from driver leaders has a whole lot to do with the source. Us, drivers. You will be surprised what I've heard just sitting in the office with the driver leaders, and then they pick up a phone. There's a driver on the other line just talking all kinds of crazy. The driver leader will answer the phone. Hello, this is so and so. What can I do for you? M and F and just right off the bat. This piece of blank, 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 and I don't like this blank, blank, and y'all send me over here and got me sitting in blank, blank, blank. I mean, just running the person down. They are a driver leader, not a planner. They don't build loads. All they do is try to keep you moving best they can, okay? Help you put out your fires. And they get the brunt of the ridiculousness. And a lot of that comes from us, the drivers, okay? Am I saying that driver leaders are all perfect angels? Well, that's a far swing to the other side, okay? Not all of anything is one way, okay? Not all drivers treat their driver leaders that way. And not all driver leaders are perfect little angels, okay? But you as a driver can definitely affect that in your own behavior, okay? Simple things. When you first get in contact with your driver leader, hey, how are you? Always upbeat when you talk to them. I don't care how bad the situation is. Say positive things. Try to keep it positive with them. So let's say your driver leader calls you up and they say, I don't have a load for you. Rather than dropping the F-bomb and talking all kind of crazy nastiness, just say, hey, we're in this together. Let me know when you have something and I'll be here waiting for you. Anything else I can do for you, if you need me to do any short runs, something that somebody else don't want to do, I'll help you out, but in the meantime, I'll patiently wait for you, Inside, you saying F-bombs and everything else, but never let that come out. Speak to them in that fashion. They're going to say, okay, well, thank you. And then next time you call them, it might be, you might wait half a day, and then call them back. Hey, I know you're about to leave the office. I just want to let you know that I'm out here if you need anything from me. I hadn't gotten a load yet, so I'm here for you if you need anything. And then they'll say, well, we got this local that, some guy just called off on. If you want to do that little local, you can do that and then come back and park and maybe find something tomorrow. Do it. Do it because you made some money. But guess what? You would not have gotten that load had you called that driver leader and said, I've been sitting here for 6 hours. You ain't got nothing for me yet? No, I ain't got nothing for you. Click. Come on, would you want to talk to that person? Of course not. We can control a lot of what we do, okay? This is something that I've made a very big habit of. Whenever I communicated with them via Qualcomm, they send me a load and they'll say, hey, I need you to certify your logs so I can dispatch you. And I would respond, oh, thank you for looking out for me. I meant to do that. I really appreciate everything you do, and I'm certifying my logs right now. Thank you very much for what you do. I always said that. Thank you very much for what you do every time. All upbeat and thank you and all this kind of stuff. You know why? Because when they read that, they reply, oh, thank you very much. You'd be surprised how people respond to that kindness, okay? There's going to be some people down there, right down here below. They're going to type in, oh, you can't be nice to them because they're going to treat you like blah, 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 because they believe that the best way to combat someone being ignorant is that you be ignorant with them. I don't subscribe to that. And if you ask me for my opinion, I'm going to tell you this is what I believe. Okay? I believe it's to your benefit to always be upbeat and positive. It is, I'm telling you, listen to what I'm telling you. This is a factoid, okay? I've sat in an office, in my driver leader's office, and in that office, it's not a big office. There's like 6 or 7 people in the drive-in apartment there in Salt Lake, right? So this guy walks in, and he walks up to one of the driver leaders, and the driver leader turns to him and says, "Hey, how are you doing? How are you today? All upbeat, nice." And then the driver says to them, he said, overworked and underpaid. That was his reply. Then the driver leader said, I'm sorry to hear, what can I do for you? And he says, you can get me out of Washington or wherever it was. I think it was Washington. But the guy standing in the office in Salt Lake. And the driver leader was a little confused, well, what's your truck number? And pulled it up, and then he realizes that the guy is getting a load that takes him to Washington, wherever, and the guy wanted to add another load on there to get him out. And the guy was just talking extremely aggressive. Let's rewind that. Let's say the guy walked in and said hello to everybody, and the driver later said to him, "Hey, how are you?" He says, "Man, I'm doing wonderful, and how are you doing?" And we're doing great. What can I do for you today? Well, I have a load. The load is going to Washington. And I noticed on the board, it's kind of light up there, and I was wondering if I would be lucky enough to be able to get stacked out. I just don't want to get stuck up there. Anything you can do. And that is a total different approach. One approach, you wouldn't even want to help that person. You follow what I'm saying? They won't forget who you are. Trust me. They won't forget if you were one that was an asshole. They won't forget if you was the one that was playing a game with them and helping them out, and they want to help you out. They won't forget it. I'm telling you. And the bigger ass you become, the more they flag your truck as being a problem. I'm telling you, this is how it is. Each time you allow a load to lapse. So what happens is they'll send you a load offer, and they call it a load offer, but it's basically your next load. But you have to accept that load, okay? It's basically what they want you to do. If you're a company driver, you're forced dispatched, okay? So the load ain't coming for you to choose whether or not you want to do it or not, okay? The load is coming to you because that is your next load. But what they want you to do, basically, by accepting that load, is saying that you believe you're going to be able to get that load to its final on time. Basically, is what's going to happen there, okay? And so you're supposed to look at that load and then look at your hours of service and say whether or not you can or cannot make that. And word to the wise, don't assume that just because that computer dispatched you on that load that the computer knows for a fact that you got the DOT time to do it, okay? The computer doesn't know, there's a major wreck outside on the freeway that's going to be blocked off for the next 6 hours. You got to be able to determine whether or not you're going to make it before you accept the load, okay? And then you have three options. You can accept the load, decline the load, or counter the load. So you might counter it and say, I'll accept the load. However, rather than me picking it up in 2 hours, I'm gonna need to pick it up in 8 hours because the road outside is shut down for 6 hours. And then you submit that counter, okay? Then the dispatch sees that and they say, well, we got that much time in the load, or we don't. They accept your counter, or they take it off you. If you counter a load, it doesn't necessarily go against you. Do they make a note that you countered? Yes, you do. If you accept the load, they definitely, they keep track of that. If you decline a load, they most definitely keep track of that. I mean, just straight decline it. It's going to ask you why. You just straight declined it. You become a person who declines loads. And now here comes your time to want it back, because you're at the yard, or in that area, okay, with 10 other trucks. In that area, those 10 trucks, there's only one available load. 5 of those trucks have a habit of declining loads. So what do you think is going to happen right now? Immediately, 5 of those trucks are out of contention for that one load. So you only got 5 trucks left. All those 5 trucks are pushing for that load. Then they're going to see how many trucks countering loads. Out of 5, one of them counters all the time. So there's 4 remaining. Out of that 4, the computer will say this particular truck out of the 4 has the best opportunity to get the load there on time. So your on time rate come into play there, and boom, you got it. That will tell you that, and you've seen it on several videos before. That happened to me all the time. Myself and my students rarely sat. Rare. Very rare. Because I have 100% on time. And I keep a very good rapport with my driver leader. And I don't care where I go. Any terminal I go to, I always go in there with a big smile. I could be mad, angry, wanting to choke somebody, but they're not going to see that. Same way you need to do it. Okay? And these things are important. If what I'm saying is not true, then that being an asshole makes you more money, then whoever's telling you that, let them show you their paycheck. I showed you mine. I showed you what I made annually. And I'm willing to bet you, I'll put it to you this way. I know for a fact there's not another driver that made more money than me. You know I know that? Because when I got interrogated by that rat piece of feces that called me on the phone, told me that that's the reason why they flagged me. So, I know what I'm talking about. Period. And I want you guys to make money too. That's why you're out there. If you're going to be away from your family, shouldn't you get paid? And shouldn't you get paid very well? You away from your family, the person who's on the phone bitching at you about making a bunch of money, guess what? They're at home with their family every night. You get to sleep in a truck that keeps shutting off because they don't want to idle it because they don't want to pay for the fuel, and it's 95 goddamn degrees outside. So take care of yourself. You're number one, despite any of the negative that goes out there, or any part of the negative that goes on in your situation. Use it to your advantage and keep a very good attitude with your driver leader. Anytime you get an opportunity to go in the terminal where your driver leader is and say thank you and shake their hand, do it, even if you don't like that so much. Even if they piss you off. Take the time out of your day. Just have everyone to come out and say thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for working with me. Shake their hand and turn around and walk off. Let them know that you don't want anything other than to thank them. And you will be surprised the positiveness that you can get out of that. It goes a long way, trust me. Anyway, Ubius and Deborah, good question. Thank you for the topic. And if you guys have any questions, anything you want to make a video about, I definitely will give you my honest opinion and then write it down there below. Thank you. Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays. Not holidays. Merry Christmas, because that's what the day is. Monday is Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah to all of my Jewish friends. Deliver undistracted. Here's your boop. Boop.